order. We'll start with the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could have a moment of silence. Thank you. The minutes.
Jeff Pennigal, I make a motion we approve the minutes for the meeting of Thursday, March 13th.
Second, Darlene Furbush.
Any discussion? This was not as easy for this one. It doesn't get any motions. But I was able to scroll through the transcript and get everything in there, so this should be good to go. So we'll vote to approve the minutes. Jeff?
Yes.
Darlene?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Nobody's here tonight. No select board, no school committee,
No. Except one
no,
gentleman back there.
yep, no town manager updates.
Madam Chair, Jeff Pennigal, I'd like to make a motion to modify the agenda by adding a number 4,
Okay,
which is to authorize the chair to make final edits on the financial committee report.
okay.
You need a second on that?
Yes.
Second.
I mean, we're gonna get it all done in number 3.
But you've got to edit what they send back, the proofs,
Okay,
to make sure they've got the transcript, everything correct from what we send them.
okay,
So that's not really all it is just editing to make sure they've got the votes correct, they got our explanations correct, the charts are in there the way we want them, your opening letters correct, because there are occasional errors.
okay. Even though they're taking it directly from a
Yes.
document that I send
Yes.
them?
Yeah, we've done that every year.
Yes. Yeah.
Just in case.
Okay, very well. So we'll vote to add a number 4 to the agenda.
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yes.
Darlene?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
Yeah, it's just a second set of eyes for what, before it goes out to the people.
There are no town manager updates. He respectfully declined because we don't have anything to discuss. So next on the agenda, your last name Machado?
Machado.
Machado. Come on up.
Where do you want me, right here?
Sure.
Do I need to speak into this on?
Yes.
Yep, I do, okay. Hello. I have
So
a loud
this is,
voice, so,
this is
I'll try
Keith
not to.
Machado, and I forwarded his resume. He will, well, he is a candidate for Lee's position when she steps away.
Right.
So do you want to just tell us a little about yourself? And
that'd be great. So first of all, I'm very excited to be considered for this position. I recently retired after 30 years with Ernst & Young, one of the big 4 accounting firms, so that was my career for many years. And I am a full-time Mashpee resident, have been since 2020, part-time before that since 2014. I do live in the residence of South Cape Beach, and I'm on the board of that condo association where Rodney is actually the president of our board. And so I obviously know Rodney very well and keep up on all of town matters, mostly through him. But now that I'm retired, I want to be much more participatory in the town as well. Other than that, I don't know if my career is important or not important, but I did run part of the tax practice for many years, and I had P&L responsibility for about $35 million practice. And probably most important for you is what can I bring to the table for this committee? And I think probably the things I can bring, I'm analytical, I think I'm level-headed, and most of all, I did have a business development background, so I'm a good listener. So I'm, like to listen is not necessarily command the room necessarily, but other than that, if there's any specific questions, happy to answer.
Hi, nice to have you. I'm Greg McKelvey. Have you worked with municipalities before?
I have not.
No.
Always in the private sector.
Right. And, we have a schedule that varies sometimes. If it's non-warrant time, our schedule is usually once a month. But as we get into October, September, we may do weekly meetings, and definitely in the winter times, we do weekly meetings because we're up against the budget and deadlines. So, understand the schedule with all that.
I do. I talked to John about that.
Great.
But good point, because, so I am retired, so I don't have any conflicts in general. Travel is one of my big things. So we just did 2 weeks in Hawaii. Typically, as long as I know the schedule, I typically do a big trip, like when I say a big trip, like 2 weeks in the fall, 2 weeks, or maybe a week in the winter. Typically never travel in this time of year. This was very unusual that we went away this last month, I
Right.
guess. In the spring is usually in the summer, not a travel time. So other than travel, I don't have any,
Okay.
responsibilities with
Right.
grandkids or any of that type of thing.
Right.
And that's it. I like to golf.
Oh, yeah. Lots of folks like that.
How long did you say you were a resident of Mashpee?
I'm sorry?
How long were you a resident of Mashpee?
Oh, so we moved here part-time in 2014, so 11 years, and then full-time since 2020. Yeah. I actually grew up on the Cape. I grew up in South Yarmouth, although we moved in 8th grade, so I did not get to go to DY. But it was great to come back.
Right.
And we love it. We love the winter here. That's our favorite time. If you're familiar with our development, we don't have garages, and so it is wonderful when you drive in this time of year and only see a handful of cars in the parking lot.
Right.
Other than that, my background is finance. I had a finance degree undergrad. I have my MBA. Love the stock market. Love investing. Think I can bring a lot to the table.
Excellent. You understand numbers.
I do understand numbers. But don't ask me to put anything on a computer or fancy spreadsheet together necessarily, but
We have a guru for that.
yeah, I
We
know.
do.
There's always someone for that.
Jeff Pettingill here. What's your understanding of the role of the finance committee?
So that's a good question. So John gave me, I would say, a cursory overview. It was a little different than I thought, to be frank. I originally was thinking, it would be more in terms of deciding what got spent as opposed to really it's more, I guess, in less of that, right? Those decisions have been made, and it's kind of the execution, I would say, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of power over what gets spent, but it's our job to ask questions to make sure that every nickel that is
Yes.
being spent is appropriate.
Yeah.
And reasonable. We basically vet the town managers and the department requests.
Right.
Ask questions
Right.
that we think the townspeople should have answered
Yes.
before making any recommendation to the town as to whether or not to approve the budget.
Right.
Exactly. And getting the blue book together, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
That's the other
our-
piece.
Yeah, there
That's,
is.
that's our report.
But also within each warrant for each town meeting, we ask questions and determine what impact each article will have on the taxpayer's tax
Excellent.
rate.
Yeah.
So even if it's not necessary, you know, the article has nothing to do with the budget per se.
Yeah, no, that part I understood. So that was a little education that John gave me. It was a little different than what I thought, but
Right.
We don't have veto power over spending.
No, we don't have veto power, but we do have a voice, that if we have an issue, we can air that out and work through that if we need to.
Yep.
And that's a good thing to have if we need that. Another thing that we do, usually sometime in late November, early December, we get our budget book.
yeah, okay.
And the budget book gives you really all the information that all the department heads are asking for. And we get to meet with the department heads as sometimes individuals, as a group. Like you may have Rodney and Wayne and one of us or two of us in a meeting, and they're reviewing their budget, and then we can ask that department head questions. It's one of my favorite meetings because you get to meet people and you get to really dig down into their numbers and ask questions, why this or why that, and that's always a really good. That usually happens in December, the first or second week in December, and that's a good.
Those are
Yeah.
super interesting. You
they are.
learn a lot
This is
about
the
the
time, so the
town.
time of year now is when you're meeting kind of weekly, and then it's more like monthly.
Yeah, from the town meeting to, say, August, we may only have one meeting a month.
Okay.
Unless something comes up,
Yeah.
last-minute approvals for changes in funding from one account to another. The town manager has to come before us to request that, as well as the select board to get approval for it. If they need to use our reserve funds, we've got a certain amount of funds that can be used for emergency purposes, for things that aren't anticipated.
Yes.
The town manager may come to us to ask for that, so,
Yeah. Yeah, John did tell me about that as
Yeah,
well. as the-
yeah, so
the
that may-
The Rodney slush fund. I
yeah.
believe.
That may require an emergency meeting to be called.
Yeah,
They're rare,
yeah, got it.
so,
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, but from February to about now,
Yeah.
it's about a weekly meeting.
Okay,
August and September can be weekly meetings as we get ready for the October town meeting.
got it. Okay,
And usually the October town meeting is a little bit easier and lighter on our workload because there usually aren't as many articles and there's usually nothing financial for us to review for the
Maytown
majority.
meeting, yeah, the Maytown meeting has
Yeah, this is.
everything.
Yeah,
and
this
the
is
budget
usually
and-
our big one, where we do a lot of work in preparation for the finance committee report for that.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? No?
What do you hope to get from being a member of this committee?
Oh, truthfully, I want to keep busy. That's important, right? I mean, town interests me. I mean, I'm a full-time resident here, and this is my money, as all of yours as well, as taxpayers.
Yep.
And I just want to be more involved and understand where my money is going as a taxpayer, and just be more involved and be more interested in what's going on in the town, really.
Well, it's a great place to learn that.
Yeah.
We see all the numbers, we
yeah,
meet all
and-
the heads of departments, we
Yeah,
interact with a lot of different
Learn a little bit
people.
about every single department.
Right. Yeah.
I was the same before I joined. I really had no idea
Yeah.
how the inner workings of the town went, and now I feel very much,
Now you know everything.
yeah,
Yes.
more than I might care to.
We were very happy that you came in and joined.
Yes, exactly.
Me too.
Do you have any questions for us?
Not specific, I'm sure, I'd like to stay and listen to the meeting.
Yeah, you're
and
welcome to stay.
Sure,
and-
absolutely.
The one next week that's open to the public, so I figure I'll go to a couple meetings just to see how it goes, and hopefully I'll be working with you.
Very good.
Okay.
As far as the travel, I think we all have times where we're absent. It's
Right.
not like you don't get detention if you miss a meeting. We have two members that are
Yeah, yeah.
absent tonight, so.
Yes, but they will get demerits.
I don't do like Florida for the winter or any of that kind of thing. It's, yeah.
Yeah, and during COVID, we had a few, myself included, that this time because we couldn't be here.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we
life
all
goes on,
travel,
life
we
goes
all-
on around us.
Right.
Right, okay. Excellent.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. It was really nice to chat with you. And I'll be in touch with the town moderator. And I think Lee's term is up in
May.
May, right after the meeting.
Yep.
Yeah. So could be sooner than you think.
Excellent, okay, thank
right.
you. I'll go back to the peanut
Okay.
gallery.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's finalize this report. I did, in the opening letter, I made 3 more changes after I sent you my updated. I had new fiscal year beginning on June 1st. It's July 1st.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I rewrote the last sentence of the second paragraph there. I just changed, I didn't like the way that read, so, hold on, let me pull it up. I changed it to, the Finance Committee is also required to provide written explanations of all articles on the warrant and why the committee voted either for or against each article. I just changed the
Yeah.
language. And then I was told by a friend who works in the building that it should not be plural of personnel administration plans, that it is just called the personnel administration plan. So
Okay.
I took out that S and put a "the" in front of the personnel.
Okay.
Did anybody else find any other?
Yeah, yes. In the paragraph we were talking about the special warrant, it's actually for fiscal year 2025.
Hold on, which, there are 12?
Yeah, that one. The next line down,
One of these articles is to clean up matters pertaining to fiscal year.
2025. That ends on June 30th, 2025.
Not according to the article, Jeff.
Which one?
Article 1,
Is that it? Is that what it says?
to pay the previous fiscal year's unpaid bills, which would be 2024. We're in 2024. We're in fiscal year 2025.
2025, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
got it. I'm thinking these are adding to the 2025 stuff.
No.
Okay,
these-
no, I'm good with that then.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Anyone find anything else?
Now, I just want to say, Madam Chair, that Article 13 and 14 were taken off the warrant. Those were the charter review.
Yeah, did you get my
Questions?
updated?
Yep, I did. But I'm just letting you know that, for the committee to know that they were taken off, and you'll be seeing them again in October. But they took them off right now, because if we voted on them in May, we weren't going to be able to physically vote on them at the polls until next June 2026. Because of, it has to go before the Attorney General, and it takes 90 days, and so on. So you'll see those again probably in
That's
October.
frustrating for
When
the
you take,
charter review
when you take
committee.
articles off like that, do we have to renumber them again?
No.
No, because
They
they
were
were,
the- they were
they
the last
moved
two
them
in
to
the
the
special.
last two, which was very smart of them, because
Right.
now it didn't really change.
Didn't change anything,
It
right.
made my workload very easy
Right,
peasy.
right.
So did you see that I snuck in the war memorial in place of the charter
Oh, yeah.
review?
I like
I thought
that.
that was a good one.
That's a good place for it, yeah.
Yeah.
I really can't look at this anymore because I've spent so many hours working on it, but I did pass it to a few people to proofread it for
Right,
me,
I
and
read
I
it.
think I got everything. Are you happy with, yeah? You don't see a comma out of place? You know how I am.
You know that I wouldn't notice the comma out of place.
I know, and Lee is gone. Lee is my proofreader. But Jeff, I'm sure you would have caught anything.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Okay.
And the only, let's see, okay, decrease from 25 for taxes, okay. And those numbers match what the
What we
latest
got.
information from Dawn, so
Yeah.
I'm good. The tax rates are key in there.
Yep.
Okay, so opening letter,
Whose phone number is that? Is that Town Hall?
It's
Yeah.
Town Hall, yes.
they can't really reach any of us live.
Yeah, I know, I hope not.
We'll put your number out there.
Actually,
Yeah,
actually, just
call
one
day or
thing.
night.
Yeah.
One more thing, on my name, please put a C in there. Jeffrey C. Pettingill. I just, for formal, for formal things like this, I
I'm Jamie
prefer.
L. Shu, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Usually anything, even on emails to us, when it's formal, that's usually what I use
Okay.
with my middle initial.
All right, so, moving on to the explanations. There were a couple of typos and errors that I caught myself before I sent out the updated copy, so I think they're all good to go. And I did, the funding source for annual meeting, Article 22,
The
Parking
park,
yeah.
yes.
that is revenue available
Yeah.
for appropriation, so I just stuck in.
Great,
No
thank you.
impact.
Right.
And that was the only thing outstanding that we hadn't had our questions answered on.
Right. And I was gonna bring that up because she answered, she gave me that information for the free cash analysis.
Yeah, and
so-
Wayne, like, finally, I texted Wayne, did you not see my email? And then he said, oh, yeah, it's revenue available.
Yeah, it's very unusual that it wasn't in the article.
Yeah,
itself.
that's what I thought too, especially because it's, creating new
Yeah.
jobs.
Right.
But also it's gonna generate revenue for the town, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so nobody found any errors? Are we good with all of the explanations?
Which was? Check something first, just one moment here. I just want to check something here. Okay, yep. I'm good with that.
We're good?
Was the police station built in 78? I thought it was 75.
I thought it was 74, and initially the explanation said 74, but then in the,
Final draft?
Right.
let me look at the
Yeah.
final draft.
Yeah.
What number is that, police station?
A05. Somehow I thought it was 75, but
Got it.
Yeah, it's 1978
Yeah.
in the article.
There's-
That's the reason I changed it. I had it at 74
Yeah.
because I thought it was.
Well, that's when,
but-
that's when the funding was approved.
Ah,
Ah,
That's when the funding was approved.
Yep.
Okay.
74.
I changed it to 78 after I read it
Right.
in the article.
okay.
Are you all going to the April 10th?
I plan to,
I do too.
yeah. The April 10th meeting would be, I think, a good time to explore what's being put out by the town manager, looking at the issues of the police station, the history of the police station, of course, showing the public what's needed at the police station and why
Right,
this is
I'm-
necessary.
Yep, I'm anxious to see the public's response. Like, that's why I want to go. I want to see who's kicking up a fuss and how can we help calm that,
I
you
didn't
know.
realize it was going to be a 3-story building. It'll be 3 stories. The new police station.
Well, there'll be a basement.
Right.
No, but it's going to be 2 floors above that.
Yeah, so, but it'll be a basement,
Yeah,
and then the first floor, so it'd be the ground floor or basement.
yep.
First floor, second floor. But yeah, it's a big building. But it will be adequate.
well, they gotta go up if they want to stay within the footprint.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so we're good on the explanations then? Nobody has any?
good.
Okay. Oh, My work here is done. Let's look at Jeff's charts. And you have the document that you have sent to us. I'm just turning right around and
Yes.
sending that.
Yes,
It's-
so
it's
long as,
exactly
so
in
long
the
as we
order
don't
that
have to make
you-
any changes, that's all you should have to do is just forward that right along.
Okay. And you got the questions answered back from Dawn, so.
Yep, that's what allowed me to finish them up.
Right.
It was just, I wasn't balancing some numbers out and I didn't know why.
And now you do.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mainly, and mainly the tax rates. So just to go through the packet, the first page is just a year-over-year comparison of the budgets for 25 and 26 by categories, major categories of the budget.
Do you want copies of this stuff? Well, you have those, that's the warrant. This is what we put together for the blue book. Sure.
Are these gonna come out in color or something?
No, they won't be in color in the book. They'll all be grayscale.
There's one piece in this pie chart that doesn't have a title with it.
When we get to it,
It's gonna go over each one.
Okay,
the next chart is the year-to-year spending from 2018. See, we've been, for no particular reason, we've still got those earlier years on there. I'm just adding to it. 2004 actuals are in there as opposed to its budget, which was previous there. The sources of revenue. Broken down by its category, state aid, local estimated receipts.
what's that pie, piece of the pie right there?
That is
Receipts.
local fees and everything.
This is not how it appears in the blue book, right? They fixed this grayscale so
I
that
think
it-
so, yes.
Yeah, because
You'd be
Make
able
it
to-
easier
really
to read.
difficult to
I'm
read.
sure they'd have to fix it so
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
read it, because it's tough.
What's,
Yeah, well, they're getting the original
this
documents so
piece
they can
of
make
pie?
whatever changes
Right.
they need to coloring.
Hang on.
They're usually very good about that.
I can't read it either here.
We've got receipts reserved for other special revenue purposes.
Receipts from other special revenue.
We got revenue available for appropriations, and then the largest portion is the tax levy. Then we've got the budget recommended budget by function, so general government, public safety, benefits, debt service, education, public works, with the dollar amount and the percentage it equates to. The next table is comparing the 2026 revenue to the budgeted appropriations, breaking down the revenue by its category. And the budgeted appropriation by its various disbursements. Then this-
Are we missing the end of that sentence there at the bottom?
Which sentence?
The overlay is the amount set aside to cover any amount of tax levy lost when a portion of the levy.
Okay, I will check that. It may be, the cell needs to be widened. It's in there, it's just hidden, the cell isn't wide enough to show all the text. And basically, it's money that's set aside from the tax levy. The next chart details the tax rate determined by the town office, the town manager's office, where we get the tax rate being $5.96 per thousand for 2026.
Would you go back, Jeffrey, to this chart here?
Yeah?
Could you put another arrow out and say what this is? It's written in there, but I don't know if it's going to come out at town meeting.
Richard, they fix that. They fix the grayscale before it gets printed.
Oh, they
You-
will?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The next table explains how the town levy is determined, and shows that the levy is actually less than what they can assess, making that amount, that $1,103,272 available in future years if necessary.
Oh, we need a space there at the end of that.
Yeah, I just saw that. The next is the capital improvement project summary for the past few years, giving us what we actually spent on capital improvement projects up through '24, what's been budgeted for 2025, which includes the 2.5 million that's in the special warrant, and then what they proposed. Capital improvements are for FY '26. The next table graph shows, and I know that not all the numbers come out clearly because some of them are just so small, but it shows what the combined tax rate is proposed for, or has been for the past years, and is proposed for next year. The variable at the moment is the water rate of 20 cents. It's not final, and they don't know what it is going to be at the moment. So just using what it was for last year
Right.
as a placeholder. The next table, which explains the amount for the water tax rate, here is a breakdown of the tax rate by basically function. Next table is basically just the debt payments over the next few years. This is provided by the town office.
Wow, there's a big jump in here.
Yeah, basically for the next 30 years.
2055.
Yeah, and growing, right? Because
Right.
we keep having other needs.
Yep.
I'm sure every town in the world.
And the last one is just an explanation of the free cash used during this warrant article. How much has been used for the specials, and then a breakdown of what we get for this current year. So that will end up with just about should end up with about 5.5 million in free cash before it's certified. This would include include whatever savings are incurred.
Jeff, thank you so
Yeah,
much
nice
for
That
job.
great,
Nice
very good
job.
job.
retaining
Thank you,
ownership
Jeff.
of all of this.
You get an attaboy for that.
That a boy.
Tell you what, I'll take you out
I'll
for a
make
drink.
those two modifications and resend you the file.
All right, so I am,
I make a motion, we accept the proposed charts pending amendment of identified changes.
And I'll second that.
can we add the opening letter and explanations to that?
We can. We make a motion to approve all
Just the
documentation
finance,
for the
yeah, the
report.
finance committee report, okay.
I'll second that for you.
Thank you, Darlene. Any discussion?
Well done.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Okay, we'll vote. Jeff?
Yes,
Darlene?
Yes.
Yes,
Richard? Greg?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
that's a lot of work in what seems like a very short period of time. It seems like it came up a lot faster than it has.
It sure did, didn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
because they were right up until the wire with that warrant. And this is the first time that we haven't gotten it, like, emailed to us ahead of time. They just kept dropping it in our mailbox the day of. That's,
yeah, there wasn't much heads up.
no, like, at least if there had been that,
Yeah.
I could have made changes, prior to each meeting, but.
Yeah, I was nervous about getting these things done in time to have it approved tonight.
Yeah,
You did a good job.
Thanks.
Yeah. Cranking out all those numbers, was that that's always a big hassle.
It's not as bad after doing it for about 5 years now.
You're a good numbers guy.
Well, the thing is, the
The charts aren't
spreadsheet,
there.
the
You just have
spreadsheet's
to-
all set up.
Right.
I've got it keyed to pull on in the right numbers from the right places and just plug in a couple here, so it really doesn't take not long, so long as I've got the information.
right. But she didn't get that to us
No,
until yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's a little bit stressful. Stressful because I wanted it done because I was positive, yeah, we had to have this done tonight because it's got to go to the printers tomorrow.
Yeah.
Was that right?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
We always
Yes,
seem
and on that note, I do not see a need for us to meet next week because we're completely done. There shouldn't be anything else we have to discuss between now and the meeting. So I would like to recommend that we cancel next week's meeting. Are you all okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And I will email these two.
Right.
And then I won't see any of you until May 5th.
May 5th is our next meeting then?
Yeah, town meeting.
Yeah, oh,
We don't meet in April.
Right.
Unless
You gonna
something comes
travel?
up.
All
Unless
that time?
something, yeah, I am. I'm going to Peru.
Oh, good for you. That's wonderful.
At this point, I'd like to make a motion that the chair be allowed to make final edits to the report.
Now second that.
Yes.
Any discussion? So I'm going to send this off tonight. Well, I'll wait for you to.
Yeah, it's not going to take me that long to make those
I'll
things.
send
It's
it
just
off
a
tonight
formatting
and
change.
then
Right.
so we're not
will
going to meet at all?
they will send a proof back to me?
Yes.
And this all has to happen tomorrow morning.
They will send, you'll send them the files. The administrative assistant will get the documentation all ready for the printer and send it off. Then you'll get a proof back to edit.
Okay. So I
And-
just
and that
have
may
to check
take-
it
it may
against
take a-
what we already have?
Yes.
Okay.
To make sure everything's correct. Yeah, you know, I
I
found
mean,
that.
copying and pasting from a Word document should not lead to any errors.
It all depends on how they're uploading it into their document.
Okay.
Because I found things incorrect, like votes were incorrect. And things like
Well,
that.
we
It could be a
have our-
character reading thing or something like that. I have no
We
idea.
have our votes already.
Right,
So I'll
but-
double check those
Yes.
tonight.
Well, when I get it back, it's like, I check the votes, I check the
Town meeting's at 8
explanations.
o'clock, and we're supposed to be there at 7. so-
And just let them know of any changes that need to be made. And read the opening letter. So long as that still reads fine and has all the changes that you made into it,
Yeah.
you know, those are the things that I've always focused on, is just the opening letter, the votes, and the explanations.
Okay.
Our
So
explanations.
we need to vote on this. We have a motion to allow me to edit. So Jeff,
Yes.
Darlene,
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
You may also want to just make sure that the order of the charts, when it comes back, is in the way
The
you
same.
want them to look.
Well,
No,
that's on you. Like,
no, it's not.
well, but if you're sending them to me in the order that you prefer them to be, so that's what I'll look for.
No, not necessarily. They're just on the various tabs, the way I put them in there. So it's just, you know, if there's an order that you prefer people
don't.
look at them in, that's what I'd go with.
I don't care. Okay.
But that's up to you.
All right, well, we're done. Yay. What a nightmare.
So even for the stress, doesn't seem like it was that bad compared to previous years. Fortunately, they weren't making changes up until last Monday. We've had
Just
that.
have to take stuff out.
Yeah,
You
other
can
than
take
that,
stuff
other than
out.
that.
Other than that,
But,
making other
yeah,
changes, right.
Well, that,
we've
I
had
mean,
new
that
things.
changed.
That changed something,
It
right? Changed your letter,
It
yeah.
sure did.
Yeah, yeah, but we've had articles added on
Yes,
that
we have.
last meeting.
Yeah.
At the last minute, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, so long as they take stuff out, that's fine.
That's easy.
Yeah, that's easy for us to deal with. But when
No,
they-
we've had to vote at the joint meeting. We've
Yeah.
had to
Yes.
Couple
vote
things,
on
yes.
articles
Yes,
at
we
the
have.
joint
Yeah,
meeting.
because they haven't had amounts.
Yeah.
Right.
Did that ever affect any of the presentation, though?
No, no, we put it in there that we will make a recommendation at town meeting. And the explanation was the best we could do, given the information
Given
we
the,
had.
yeah,
Right.
That's all you can do.
And the thing is, at that time, our explanations weren't how we voted.
I'm surprised that they left the public comment in there.
They have to.
They have no
They
choice.
can't take it out. It's a petition article.
I'm surprised that the petitioner left the article in there.
Once it's submitted, it can't be removed by the petitioner or.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, the only way is to do it on the floor.
Right. And they
That's
can
an
then
at-town
definitely
meeting.
postpone it on the
Oh,
floor.
yeah.
Yeah.
It might behoove her to postpone it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had several petitioners motion to indefinitely postpone their articles on town meeting.
At the town meeting, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's the only way to deal with a petition article.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you all very much for your hard work in getting all this done. I think we did a great job. I think we're good to go. And-
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think you've done a
You're
great
so
job.
welcome. It's been nothing but a privilege.
Liar.
It's been a lot, but now that I'm through it, now I do feel a sense of accomplishment, and
Yes.
I feel proud of us as a like,
Right.
I think we've done a really good job, not just on the opening letter, but on our explanations. I like that we are now saying why we voted
Right.
for or against. I think that makes a big difference, and I think it'll cut down on the number of people that question why we vote the way we did, because now it's right there.
Right there.
And I will say the first May meeting as chair is stressful, full of anxiety,
Yes.
ready
But
to
now
pull
that
your
I've
hair
done,
out.
yeah, now that I've done it, I feel like,
It's actually
okay.
not bad once you've gone through it once.
It's bad, but it's not like, it's not life-ending. I think
Yeah.
it's just because I also own two businesses that are,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
you're busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to give those up, that's all.
Oh, okay, Richard.
Oh, are we gonna increase your salary for this?
From zero? What do you mean? Okay, so we will not meet next week, but we will meet at 6 PM at the high school in that little medical
More than likely, yeah.
classroom.
Yeah.
And that will be a joint meeting.
Yep.
thank you for getting those missing minutes to me. I still haven't, they don't know if they can even find the recording of that meeting in September.
Yeah. They may just have to put on the town's website that those minutes are not available due to unforeseen circumstances.
I mean, I can go back and use the agenda and try and fake it, but if there were motions, like there were obviously
You know,
motions
who voted
made.
for what, who seconded it,
Right.
we don't have,
Right.
never have any of that.
Okay,
Yeah, but it's not our fault. We
No,
did,
no,
we
she
did, we
came in
provided the
and-
date, we provided the data and the transcript, and so. If not, we've got nothing to
Right.
complain about.
okay. All right,
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
any opposition?
The railroad.
Hearing none, passed by unanimous consent. Thank
Except
you
that,
all.
except that I saw Greg say yes. He complained.
Yes to adjourn.